It sends a message to our faculties, to our body, to our hand, to our fingertips, to write, to put into physical manifestation what has come from within, so now it will have a physical manifestation. That is how Allah Almighty works. We are in the image of Allah Almighty. No other animal has the ability to be in such an image, to represent its Lord. And that's why it's an abomination to sit with someone and their only conversation is about their problems or their difficulties or their complaints, their illnesses, the decadence, the despair, the unhappiness, the sadness. This is someone who totally unaware of themselves. And they may take to drugs, alcoholism, promiscuous behavior, depression, sadness, hatred, anger, suicidal, because they have allowed themselves to think like animals, but an animal is a higher level. It is the higher, an animal, a dog, a cat is at its highest level. When we start to be on the level of animals, then they are on a higher level than we are, because they were created to be such animals. We were not created to be such animals. In science, there is truth and falsehood in science. There is truth and falsehood in religion. And through the being of ourselves, we must delve into the inner resources of ourselves to be able to see the truth in science and the truth in religion. Now, there have been scientists, thinkers, that have actually challenged religion, challenged the existence of Adam and Eve. And because the people were on such an animal level, don't you know that when Adam and Eve fell from felicity, they fell to their lower selves. They fell to their animal mentality. Allah Almighty had given the knowledge of all things to Adam. But this too is an expression of Allah Almighty's greatness, and that when Allah Almighty teaches, He teaches so thorough, you never, ever forget the lesson. When they failed and they realized they no longer had that ability to bring about in manifestation from their preserved tablets, from their reality, from their spiritual stations, that was hell for them. Can you imagine being so wealthy, having these lofty homes and cars and food to eat, and all kinds of friendships in all walks of life taken away from you? You no longer have friends. You no longer have your lofty buildings. You no longer have food to eat. You're just with yourself. And this is how we are without Allah Almighty. And when one knows themselves and studies themselves, and they see how Allah Almighty has given us such a orchestra of things to bring about the harmony and a sweet music to be played and lived, and having that heart and having that brain and having the limbs, having our bodies to be as one, to represent the oneness, the only oneness, Allah Almighty that gives us that oneness. This is what life is. That's why Esau ibn Maryam, Jesus Christ, said, be in this world, but don't be of this world. To be in it and to be of it is to live on an animal level, not knowing how you got here, why you're here, or where you're going. Deaf, dumb, and blind. And that's why human beings are able to cage animals. The strongest and the fastest of animals, they may put them in cages. Signs of that is when you go to the zoo. Animals that can fly high in the sky can be tricked by human beings and put in a cage. Yet those who are in the image of Allah Almighty live lower than those animals, looking for anything and everything and believing in everything and everything other than Allah Almighty. And that's why when we don't remember Allah Almighty, Allah does not remember us. Then we are lower than animals. Now we have to rely on technology. We have to rely on man-made rules that can change overnight. Allah Almighty never changes. The nature of our soul, the laws of our soul, they never change. It's an ever-growing, evolutionary process that takes us as high as we want to go, whenever we want to go. But we have to be in this world, but not of it. We cannot attach ourselves to things that keep us bounded to the earth. Our mentality, holding on things. Oh, I got a problem. My husband is driving me nuts. My wife is driving me nuts. My children are driving me nuts. My teachers drive, my employer. You think Allah Almighty is having problems? Think Allah Almighty is complaining about anything or anyone? You think Allah is grieving or fearing? But we're in His nature, we're in His image. We're in His image. If I can think a thought and write it, and then build it, and then use it, and then drive it, and then fly it, and then ride on water with it, is that more? What is that saying about us? No other kinds of beings are able to do that. No other creatures are able to do that. The angels can't do it. The jinn can't do it. What is wrong with us? That we sit idly by and allow ourselves to be beat down. Complaining and in depression. Complaining and angry and hating. What is wrong with us? And we call ourselves righteous people. And that's why Allah Almighty had to say, don't you know that when Allah started to send prophets to us, that was like the last resort? That's like you out there playing in the street, your mom and your daddy calling you, you won't come, so they send the police after